Welcome back, guys. In this video we're doing a van comparison between our van and Sasha's mum's van. So we've been back home for a few weeks now and we've been doing some odd jobs on our vans, tilting the solar panels, adding another internal freshwater tank, and during that time our van's been out of action, so we've been borrowing Sasha's mum's van just to get around town. So we thought we'd just do a quick little comparison. So first up's the basic info. Our van is a 2016 Fiat Ducato extra long wheelbase with the 3-litre turbo diesel engine. We built it ourselves and we've been living in it for 4 years now, travelling around Australia. We built it specifically to be a full-time live-in van. Sasha's mum's van is a 2016 Toyota HiAce extra long wheelbase, high roof, and it's a full-time 4-wheel drive. Marianne's van was fit out by Sasha's brother Jesse, and Marianne uses it for short trips away and weekends. So as far as power for our van, we have 1200 watts of residential panels on the roof. We have 400 amp hours of lithium batteries, and we have a Victron MultiPlus 3000 watt peak 6000 watt inverter. We have no gas in this van. Everything's powered by electricity, so we have an induction cooktop, a 20-litre electric hot water unit, and we also have a little LG convection/microwave oven. For Marianne's van, she has a single 430 watt residential solar panel on the roof, 400 amp hours of lithium batteries, and a Victron MultiPlus 2 inverter charger. It's also a gas-free van. Her cooktop is the same induction cooktop that we have. Her hot water unit is a little bit cooler than ours. It's also electric, but it also draws heat away from the vehicle's engine. It's pretty economical. As far as water storage, ours has an externally mounted 90-litre freshwater tank. Marianne's, on the other hand, has a 140-litre internally mounted water tank. So the neat thing about that is it will survive winter conditions. Whereas when we want to go into the snow mountains to sub-zero temperatures, we have to change our freshwater setup so that we have a secondary tank that we put on the inside of the van, and we have to empty our external tank.
Alrighty, let's check out the inside of our van. So we have both of our front seats swiveling, so we can swivel them around and then we can seat 3 people in our living room. Overhead storage here, and we've also got a massive one up here as well for our linen. 2 opening windows on either side here, one in the sort of seating area, one for the kitchen as well that opens when we cook. We also have some extra storage down here for shoes and work stuff. So it's a little sneaky cupboard underneath our feet. But during the night when we're sleeping and we want some privacy, we don't cover up our windscreen very often, although we do have a windscreen cover if we want it. We typically will always just use our curtains. So they slide across just like that, and then we clip them into place to stop anyone seeing us. So then moving further down the van, we obviously have our kitchen here. So we've got a 2-burner induction stovetop by Saffieri. Underneath the stove, we have a 130-litre Vitrifrigo fridge. The great thing about this fridge is the compressor is actually external. So in our freezer, it is a complete width freezer, and the compressor is not taking up space in the freezer. So there is a little bit more room than a lot of other RV fridges. Further along, we do have a convection oven / microwave / air fryer. It's been pretty good so far for 4 years. We use the oven function probably more than anything else. And then we do have storage for plates, cups, pots, all that sort of stuff. And then another storage drawer for bathroom, first aid and other random stuff. And then we do have some quite small drawers. The first one being cutlery and utensils, a drawer of random stuff that everyone needs. Then we have our coffee drawer, which is a little bit empty at the moment because we are house sitting, and then a plastic straw as well at the bottom. We do have our bin, so we have a double bin. Usually these will all be full. Again, we are house sitting, so a lot of things are quite empty at the moment, but this has got all our sort of breakfast, granola, pasta, dry goods, I suppose, things like that. Oh, and there is one more piece of kitchen storage, I will say. Our pantry. So we have installed pull-out drawers, which just make accessing the depth of our pantry a lot easier, and it means we can really use up all the space in like what is quite a deep space. As more of an aesthetic choice, we did build niches into our walls. It just houses the things that we collect on the road, so you know, little random shark eggs and other bits and pieces from around the place. So then next to the kitchen, we have our bathroom. At the moment, we are preparing to leave for the snow in next week. We have turned it into our dry room and we'll install snowboard mounts, and then we will change where our curtain rail is so that we can hang up all our wet gear. A compostable toilet as well. Moving on, we do have some more storage. So our electrical cupboard up here, which we also use to house some vitamins and just random stuff as well. Then we do have our wardrobe, so just some hanging space, and of course very important, our soda stream. I could not live without this thing. And then each of us do have our own drawer for clothes. This is Freddie's drawer, my drawer down here, and then down at the bottom is some toilet paper, but is the batteries, and I suppose a little bit of extra storage room for some other random things as well. And then finally onto our bed. Frankie's favourite place to hang out. The bed is basically a double-sized bed, and we do have two more windows which are both opening on either side of the bed. We sleep widthways, and then 6-foot Freddie can sort of reach all the way out without being cramped in the bed. Some more storage back here for random stuff. And then we've got one of two roof vents for the bedroom, and then we also have a Sirocco fan at the back there. We also have our front roof vent, which is predominantly to get rid of kitchen smells and things, and I guess also move some air. Between the two of them, we can kind of pump them up and create like a wind tunnel when we need to, or draw everything out if we need to as well. I would say one of the biggest differences when choosing between the two sizes of vans is that this one you can very comfortably have two people standing and working and like cooking dinner or whatever it is at the same time. And if you need a little bit of alone time when you're kind of constantly living with two people, quite often Freddie will be playing Xbox or something like that on the bed, and maybe I'll be at the front reading. We can kind of spread out in what is quite a small space, but we can still get our own space. And I think that is quite important if you are doing full-time van life in a couple. And probably another big difference is just the fact that we do have a space for the shower and the toilet. There's nothing that needs to be pulled out or set up. We literally just shut the shower curtain and have a shower, and it's super easy. And I suppose something fairly obvious, and maybe not as applicable for me because I'm quite short, but obviously having a taller van just means you have more standing height. So someone who's 6 foot can stand in here very comfortably, and it's not an issue. I'm just going around to the back and we'll look at some of our last bit of storage that we've got. Because our bed is set up as a permanent bed, we do have quite a significant amount of storage underneath the bed. We do run our business on the road. Most of this stuff is for our business and how we run our business, but if you weren't doing that, obviously this would be a great spot for bikes, tents, whatever your heart desires. Alright, so now we're going to go check out the smaller van. So this one is a little bit more compact, but quite efficient in how it's set out. We've got our couch here, which does have the water tank underneath. So this is where the internal 140 litre water tank is. And a little bit of storage here for bins and random stuff. Then we've got a circular sink. Then we have some storage. Quite good deep sized drawers, which would fit a lot of stuff. This one's more pots and pans, things like that. If you were living full time, you'd probably be a little bit more efficient about how these drawers are set out, but because it is Mum's fun weekender van, she kind of just makes do with what she's got. This second drawer here is actually the table, and this is like a great place to chop veggies, do some work, just a nice little space to spread out, and it's a nice use of the space rather than having a separate table that you've got to kind of fit and move around. Moving over to this side of the kitchen, we do have the same, actually the exact same cooktop, so dual burner induction cooktop from Saffieri. They worked really well for our van, so we did suggest Mum getting the same one, and so far it's been great. A little bit more storage here, then a 90 litre Vitrofrigo fridge, which does have the same situation going on with the freezer and the compressor. So the compressor is external, so the freezer is full width. And at the back here we do have a window which you can open as well to get some airflow through when you're cooking. So moving further towards the middle of the van, she's got even more storage. We've got a unit here which at the top has got all the electrical switchboards and sort of control room up the top. A nice little mirror and vanity unit, and then we do have a bunch of cupboards again for all of the things that your heart could desire. So it's just a bunch of random cupboards then, and a lot of them are empty. Then moving on to the bed. This is a double bed, the same size as ours, but rather than laying sideways, because it is a skinnier van than ours, she does lay north-south, but there's plenty of room here, and you could certainly fit 2 people in here, in which case she has many times with friends. We've got 2 windows on either side. These windows are not opening windows, they're just purely for the vibes. And we've got plenty of outlets as well on either side. So when you're in bed, you can turn lights off and go to sleep. We do have a Sirocco fan similar to ours near the bed for airflow, and at the back here is the only roof vent in the van, which again helps for airflow. So the biggest difference, again, like I was mentioning in the larger van, is with this one, if you are 2 people in the van, it's pretty much like one person doing the things in the kitchen, whether it's brushing teeth, making dinner, working, whatever. The other person is sort of hanging out in the bed or hanging on the couch. It's a little bit less convenient for 2 people to be doing things at the same time while standing up. Obviously, you know, you can compromise and do what you need to do, but just in terms of the day-to-day, this could be a little bit cramped. For a single person, it's absolutely perfect and fine, as long as they're short. So I am 5'4". So my mum's a little bit shorter than me, and she can just stand up without bending her head. 6 foot Freddie cannot stand up at all, so you're kind of always having to lean down a little bit in this van. So then coming around to the back, so there is quite a significant amount of storage under here. It is the full length of the bed. And then at the back there you can see the hot water unit. On the left hand side is all the electrical batteries and inverter and things like that. She does have a shower set up, so she can rinse off when she needs to. It's in this bucket. It is just a shower nozzle attached with a pipe, and then hot and cold water up here with the mixer. And then the shower just hooks up, and then you can shower away as you need. So one good thing about this van is that it does have a fold down middle seat, so you can come around on the inside if you need to without getting out of the van. So if it's raining, you can pop in and be in the back of the van, which is quite handy.
So this is just a quick final bunch of comparisons that we'll do between the 2 vans.
The HiAce was bought empty for 40 grand in 2024, and the fit out cost about 40 grand in 2024. And then in comparison, the Ducato, we bought it empty for 32 grand in 2021. And then the fit out in 2021 all up cost us about 40 grand as well.
The cost of things like batteries, solar panels, timber and hardware has definitely gone up a lot since then. So you got a lot more for your money when we built this van than compared to the Toyota when it was built. I guess it's a little bit hard to compare there.
The fit out cost for both of these does include a full lithium electrical fit out. You can obviously go a lot cheaper if you include gas or just AGM rather than lithium. So that's something to keep in mind as well.
One of the cool advantages that the smaller van has is that it is a full-time four-wheel drive. It's smaller, lighter, and a bit more nimble. So that's definitely the more off-road capable vehicle. Our van, the Fiat Ducato, it's a front-wheel drive, two-wheel drive. So that's like the worst of two-wheel drives. And it's pretty heavy, pretty long. We can certainly go on some muddy trails and things, but the other van's definitely the better van for going off-road adventuring. We do have the all-terrain tyres to try and help compensate for that, and they do help a little bit. This van is also fitted with a lift kit, which consists of airbags, suspension in the rear, and an Alco front strut replacement. So that's a slightly taller front strut member, and that's given us about 40 millimeters additional height clearance overall.
With the HiAce, it's a pretty normal sized vehicle that you can kind of drive around car parks. It's slightly tall, but like you could certainly get that into a lot of underground car parks as well. We are too tall for pretty much any underground car park. I think there's been like one we've been able to go into. It is significantly longer. Most of our length is actually past the wheels. So we can go into a normal car park. We just sort of require a little bit of space at the rear of the car park in order to back into, and then we can kind of go into a standard shopping centre car park. Both of them handle really well. It's surprising how car-like this big vehicle feels. I mean, we have all the mod cons, we have ABS, power steering, cruise control, all those things that, you know, modern cars have. So this one does handle really, really comfortably. And I will actually say I don't know if it's Mum's shockies, I think they need to be replaced. This one feels a lot nicer to be in, and a lot less bouncy when we're in it, but that could definitely just be Mum's got some dodgy shockies that she needs to replace.
That one feels a little bit more like a commercial vehicle. It's a little bit more rugged, say. This one's much more comfortable, quiet, and has better fuel economy. If I had to pick between the two cars to drive to the shops, I would actually drive this one.
Yeah. So I guess as like a quick fire, who's it for? Like based on these two vans, we sort of think if you need stealth, the HiAce is probably the ideal one. If you need comfort for two people, the Ducato is perfect. If you want to go off-road, the HiAce is definitely the pick. And if you want a kitchen you can dance in, well, the Ducato is probably the one for you.
If you want a standing room shower toilet area that is enclosed, that's definitely for the taller, larger van.
And if you are just like a bigger person, if you're quite a tall person, it's something that you can't change, and that does probably factor in the comfort of how you're living. So in that circumstance, I think the bigger van is probably better.
If you're more than 5 feet 3 inches tall and you want to do a more permanent van life, you need the larger vehicle for sure. You could do it in that one for shorter trips, but long term it might become a bit uncomfortable. Well, we hope this video was useful to you if you are looking at getting into van life and trying to figure out what size van or what type of van would suit you best. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and see you guys in the next one.
See you guys.